Today, we're going to talk about something that a lot of us probably have some strong feelings about: social studies. But this isn't the class you might remember. We're diving into a totally new way of teaching it, an approach that's not about creating good test takers, but about shaping engaged citizens. So, let's see how they're pulling it off.
So, this new curriculum we're looking at, it's from the Flying Wings online school. And what they're trying to do is, well, fundamentally change how students see and interact with the world. It goes way, way beyond just reading a textbook.
Let me ask you something. When you hear social studies, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? Come on, be honest. For so many of us, it's just this blur of memorizing dates, and names, and places just long enough to pass a test, right? Well, that's the exact idea this new curriculum is trying to completely tear down.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the big why we need to move past just memorizing stuff. Then we'll get into the how, looking at 5 core skills and the structure of the course. We'll see how it all works with a really interesting case study on Afghanistan. And finally, we'll talk about the ultimate goal: building the citizens of the future.
All right, first up, let's get into the core philosophy here. This isn't just about getting a shiny new textbook or learning a different set of facts. No, this is about a fundamental shift in how we even think about social studies.
So on the left, you've got the old way, right? Rote learning, basically just pouring isolated facts into a student's brain and hoping they stick. But on the right, you see the new goal: fostering real conceptual understanding. It's about developing analytical thinking, civic awareness, a global perspective. It's about getting the why behind the what.
And all of this leads to a pretty powerful mission. I mean, this isn't just about getting an A on the report card. The real purpose, the whole point, is to prepare students to be informed, ethical, and truly engaged citizens in our incredibly complex world.
So a mission like that is huge, right? How do you even begin to achieve it? Well, you start by building a solid foundation of specific, transferable skills. Let's take a look at what those are. The whole curriculum is built on these 5 pillars. See, it starts by teaching history not just as a bunch of stories, but as a discipline, a way of thinking and questioning evidence. From there, it layers on civic knowledge, geographic literacy, and critical thinking, before pulling it all together to analyze a real-world case study: Afghanistan.
And these skills aren't just taught in a vacuum. They're carefully woven together into a 5-part journey that each student takes.
You can really see the flow of the course here. It's so logical. You start with the fundamentals, the science of history. Then you build on that with civics, geography, and critical thinking skills. It all culminates in Part 5, where students apply everything they've learned to that complex case study on Afghanistan.
And the classroom vibe itself is absolutely key. Instead of a teacher just lecturing from the front, this whole approach is centered on inquiry. Think less, here are the answers, and more, why do you think this happened? It really encourages discussion and dialogue, and it values the student's own voice. It makes learning an active thing, not a passive one.
Okay, now for that final part of the journey, the case study. And using Afghanistan is a really unique choice. It's designed to make all of the course's principles come to life in a very real, very tangible way.
This quote right here, it gets right to the heart of the teaching philosophy. Avoid single-story narratives. In a world that loves to oversimplify everything, this is all about looking at a place or an issue from multiple, balanced perspectives to get a much richer and, frankly, more accurate picture.
And here's exactly how they do it. The focus is on understanding Afghanistan's geographic importance, its geopolitics, but, and this is so important, without any political advocacy. It's an academic study, not a political rally. It also means looking at both the challenges and the opportunities to make sure you're getting that complete, nuanced picture.
You know, you might think that this kind of deep, honest analysis would just be depressing. But that's not the goal at all. Instead, the aim is to foster a sense of hope, but a realistic hope, one that's grounded in real, solid knowledge and a clear-eyed view of the situation.
So let's bring it all home. After a student goes through this entire process, this whole journey, what kind of person emerges? What are the real, lasting outcomes?
The results are both practical and incredibly powerful. A student doesn't just walk away with a head full of facts, they leave with strong analytical skills, a deep sense of civic awareness, and the confidence to actually engage with complex social issues, not just shy away from them.
At its absolute core, this course is designed to instill a clear understanding of civic responsibility, knowing your rights and your duties, and then using that knowledge to help solve problems and participate peacefully in your community. That's a skill for life, right there.
And this all brings us to one final crucial question that really captures the soul of this whole philosophy. In a world that can feel so overwhelming and complicated, how do we build hope from knowledge? Well, this approach offers an answer. It suggests that a more hopeful future isn't built on simple beliefs, but on deep, nuanced, and critical knowledge.